Today, let us discuss diversity in India. India is a melting point of various cultures and traditions. India is a land of diversity in terms of race, region, caste, creed, language, and customs. Indian history spans several millennia back. Archaeological findings have dated life in the Indian subcontinent to the Stone Age. Each region exhibits distinct culture and way of life in terms of food, clothing, social tradition, and language. We speak many different languages. Various types of food celebrate different festivals, practice different religions. But actually, if you think about it, we do many things that are similar except that we do them in different ways. How do we explain diversity? A little more than 200 years ago or long before, the train, aeroplane, bus or car became a part of our lives, people traveled from one part of the world to another in ships, on horses, on camels, or on foot. Often they went in search of new lands or new places to settle in or for people to trade with. And because it took so long to travel, once they got it to a place, people stayed there often for a long time and built houses. Many others left their homes because there were famines and drought and they could not get enough to eat. Some went in search of work while others left because there was a war. Sometimes, as they began to make their homes in new places, people began to change a little, and other times they managed to do things in old ways. So, their languages, food, music, religions became a mix of old and the new. And out of this intermixing of cultures came something new and different. Not only do people have different clothing and eating habits, but even the kind of work they do are different. In cities, it is often easy to forget how closely people's lives are tied to their physical surroundings. This is because in the city, people seldom grow their own vegetables and grain. Instead, they depend on the market to buy all the food and other goods that they need. Let us try to understand what we mean when we say that historical and geographical factors influence the diversity of a region. We can do this by reading about life in two different parts of the country, Kerala and Ladakh. If we look at the map of India, locate Kerala and Ladakh. Ladakh is a desert in the mountains in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. Very little agriculture is possible here since this region does not receive any rain and is covered with snow for a large part of the year. There are few trees that can grow in the region. For drinking water, people depend on the melting snow during the summer months. People here keep sheep, and the sheep in this region are special because they produce pashmina wool. This wool is prized and pashmina shawls cost a lot of money. The people in Ladakh carefully collect the wool of the sheep and sell this to traders from Kashmir. Pashmina shawls are chiefly woven in Kashmir. The people of Ladakh eat meat and milk products like cheese and butter. It was considered a good trade route as it had many passes through which the caravans traveled to and what is today called Tibet. These caravans carried textiles, spices, raw silk, and carpets. Buddhism reached Tibet via Ladakh. Ladakh is also called Little Tibet. Islam was introduced in this region more than 400 years ago, and there is a significant Muslim population here. Ladakh has a very rich oral tradition of songs and poems. Local versions of the Tibetan national epic, the Kesar Saga, are performed and sung by both Muslims and Buddhists. Kerala. Kerala is a state in which southwest corner of the India. This is surrounded by the sea on one side and hill on the other. A number of spices like pepper, cloves, and cardamoms are grown on the hills. It is spices that made this region an attractive place for traders. Many Arab traders also came and settled down here. Ibn Battuta, who travelled here a little less than 700 years ago, wrote a travelage in which he describes the lives of Muslims and says that they were highly respected community. The Portuguese discovered the sea route to India from Europe when Vasco da Gama landed with his ship here. The fishing nets used here look exactly like the Chinese fishing nets and are called chinawala. Even the utensils used for frying is called the chinachatti. And it is believed that the word chin could have come from China. The boat race is an important part of Onam festival celebrated in Kerala. The fertile land and climate are suited to growing rice, and a majority of people eat rice, fish, and vegetables. While Kerala and Ladakh are quite different in terms of their geographical features, has been several cultural influences. India's diversity has always been recognized as a source of its strength. When British ruled India, women and men from different cultural regions and religious backgrounds came together to oppose them. India's freedom movement has thousands of people of different backgrounds in it. They worked together to decide joint actions. They went to jail together and they found different ways to oppose the British. Interestingly, the British thought they would divide Indians because they were so different, and they continued to rule them. But the people showed how they could be different and yet be united in their battle against the British. Here is a poem. Don't forget the days of blood, O friend. In the midst of your happiness, remember to shed a tear for us. The hunter has torn away every single flower. Do plant a flower in the garden, dear friend. Having fallen to bullets we slept in Jallianwala Bagh, do light a lamp on this lonely grave, O friend. The blood of Hindus and Muslims flows together today. Do soak your robe in this river of blood, dear friend. Some rot in jails while others lie in their graves. Do shed a few tears of them, O friend. This song was sung after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, in which British general opened fire on a large group of unarmed, peaceful people, killing many and wounded even more. Men and women, Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims, rich and poor, had gathered to protest against the British. This song was composed and sung to honor the memory of those brave people. You might have heard many songs. वंदे मातरम, ए मेरे वतन के लोगों, मेरे देश की धरती, सारे जहां से अच्छा. Many such songs and symbols that emerged during the freedom struggle serve as a constant reminder of our country's rich tradition of respect for diversity. Do you know the story of Indian flag? It was used as a symbol of protest against the British by people everywhere. Jawaharlal Nehru, in his book The Discovery of India, says that Indian unity is not something imposed from outside, but rather it was something deeper and within its fold. It was Nehru who coined the phrase unity in diversity to describe the country. India's national anthem, composed by Rabindranath Tagore, is another expression of unity of India.